1, 2. Hello. Just give me 1 second. Okay, guys. Okay. Come on. If you would like to sing along with them. But we're going to start in the Hebrew part.
Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, good Shabbos. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid and our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat worship service. It is wonderful to be here with all of you in our sanctuary, as well as all of you joining us virtually via our website or Facebook in our virtual community. As we come together on this Shabbat, we come together as a community, strong in this sanctuary, the sanctuary that we are told in this Torah portion to build, so that we may dwell amongst it, we may be in it, we may be safe from that which is the schmutz of the outside world on this Shabbat. We may comfort each other in it, we may pray in it, and we may feel the blessings and the Spirit of God within it. This evening we are blessed because, for a variety of reasons as a community, we are joined as you just saw by our 4th and 5th grade classes, who just moments ago had their class Shabbat dinner. And we are so glad that you, our students, and your families are here with us for this Shabbat this evening. We're also joined, this evening by the Levis family, who are coming to us from near and also very far, because tomorrow morning, during our Shabbat morning worship service, Anna is going to be up on the bima leading us in prayer and reading from the Torah and teaching us from its sacred and ancient words. And in doing so, we will call her a bat mitzvah, the newest adult member of the Jewish people. And so we welcome your family to join us here tonight for this service as we welcome in Shabbat. As we begin our service this evening, I'm going to ask everyone just to take a moment and make sure that your cell phones or other electronic devices are turned off and put away for the remainder of the service as we turn in our prayer books to page 128. Singing together the words on the bottom of the page, welcoming in Shabbat.
But before we sing the words at the very bottom of the page, just sing with me. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. I can't hear anybody. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. And the words at the bottom of the page. Hachamame Rosha'ila not nistalka, bo v'nei likrat Shabbat hamalka. Hachamame Rosha'ila not nistalka, bo v'nei likrat Shabbat hamalka. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala.
As we do each week, we enter into Shabbat by bringing more light into creation. As we turn now in our prayer books to page 120 to kindle our Sabbath lights, I'm going to invite Anna and her family to the bima so that they can light our lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We turn now in our prayer books back to page 128 as we enter into Shabbat, opening our hearts up to love and compassion, the spirit of joy in the world, as we sing together Yidid Nefesh.
Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, meshochav decha, el ritzonecha, meshochav decha, galalai lai lai el ritzonecha. Yarut abdecha kemo Yishtachave yalalai, la 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 el muladarecha. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Meshochavecha el ritzonecha, Meshochavecha yalalai la la el ritzonecha.
The mystics of Sfat used to go into the hills. On Friday evening, they would leave their homes and go into the hills singing a series of 7 psalms, raising in volume, raising in spirit, as they took each psalm representing each day of the week that had just passed, leading all the way up until they were to welcome the Sabbath bride with L'chadodi. And from that practice, from those psalms, we get our service of Kabbalat Shabbat, which begins with Psalm 95 on page 130. Please join us.
Lechu niranena l'Adonai, nari alitzo yishenu, nekahad mafana b'toda, v'izmirot nari alo. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash, Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash, Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash.
Page 136, we turn to Psalm 29. Mizmor LeDavid. Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim. Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh. Together, a psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. Kol Adonai chotsev lahavodesh. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. And the voice of Adonai causes hinds to calf and strips forest bare, while in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned, sovereign forever. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. May Adonai grant strength to God's people, and may Adonai bestow on God's people well-being.
Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ol tiferet b'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orechu uri, shedaberi, kivol Adonai alayik nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emuneam segula. Boi kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Now that we have welcomed in the Sabbath bride, we prepare to transition into our Mariv service, our evening service, with the Shema and its blessings, using the words of the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. And I'm going to invite Anna to the Bima to lead us in Kaddish, and I'm going to invite our 4th and 5th graders. Not yet, never mind. Not yet. We'll do that in a moment. But first, 144. Amen. B'chayechon u'yom echon uv'chayetechol Beit Yisrael Bagala uv'izman kariv. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam Lalmei Almaya Yitbarach
Ve'yishavach ve'yifa'ar ve'yitmaman ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yithaleh ve'yithalav Shemei D'Kudusha
Berichu
Le'elam Yimkol Birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran v'alma v'imir.
Amen.
Are you listening to my prayer? Hear my voice. Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I sleeping?
ata et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livanecha vidibarta bam Vishivtecha bevetecha uvelektecha vaderech uvishochbecha uvekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayuletotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Lema'an tizkiru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 159, we read together. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, in earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot. Ose fele mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, ose fele, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu L'Shalom. V'ha'amidenu Shomrenu L'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu L'Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's sword. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's sword.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 162 as we turn to words from Torah that remind us as we read them each week that this day of Shabbat has the ability, when we watch it, when we guard it, when we celebrate it, to renew us and renew our souls.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat leDorot Berit Olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat leDorot Berit Olam. Ve'ni uve'bnei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasot et ha-Shabbat leDorot Berit Olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
You guys okay? So, we turn in our prayer books now to page 164 as we rise for the tefillah.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Teilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom imroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu. Now you clap. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ose shalom bimroma, uya ase shalom aleinu.
This week, we are in Parshat Truma. We are just now in the part of the book of Exodus where, beginning this week and really for the next number of weeks, God is going to be giving Moses instructions about how to build the tabernacle, how to build the Mishkan, the meeting place, the place which would hold the Ark of the Covenant and be the central location for the Israelites as they wandered through the wilderness. And as we enter into Truma, which we will hear read tomorrow morning during our morning worship service by Anna as she is called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah, we read a very interesting line. And if you'll all forgive me for just a moment, we're going to talk some grammar tonight. So the Hebrew in the Torah are those words that our students sang with us at the beginning of the service. V'asuli mikdash v'shatchanti b'tocham. Build for me a sanctuary, God says, that I may dwell b'tocham, among them. But that word b'tocham doesn't necessarily mean among them, amongst us, as I might say I am among you. But b'tocham can mean within you. And so God is telling us to build a sanctuary, to build a dwelling place for the divine so that God can dwell within each of us, can dwell in our hearts and in our souls. And the Israelites follow God's instructions. They collect the wood and the gold and the silver and the skins and the fabrics that they need to build this Mishkan. First by building the Aron, the Ark, of which we have a representation here in our sanctuary, as do most synagogues, that houses our Sefer Torah, our Sifrei Torah, our Torah scrolls. And they continue building, and we are given these very explicit instructions, down to the finest detail, to build this tabernacle, to build God's house amongst us. Why is it so specific? Does it really matter if there's gold versus silver, if there's red versus blue? Probably not. But in being that specific, it forces the Israelites to be intentional about creating a dwelling place for the divine. And as they create the physical representation of that dwelling place, they therefore open their hearts to welcoming God in. Previously, just 2 weeks ago, we read of Sinai. We read of that moment where God calls out and gives us the Torah in thunder and in lightning with the blast of the shofar. But the Mishkan does much more than that. The Mishkan is that physical representation that reminds us of God's ability to dwell within us. Not just when there's the thunder and the lightning. Not just when there's the majesty of the divine. But in the everyday moments. In those moments where we interact with each other. When we interact with others who have God within them. For we are reminded that we are all created in God's image and as such have a God place within us. It's that place, that kol damama daka, that still small voice within that we look to for motivation, that we look to for inspiration, and that we look to be good people. And so as we began our service tonight, we sang those words, Ve'asuli mikdash, v'shachanti betocham. Words loosely translated by the Quaker hymn, God, make me the sanctuary. So that God, you, can dwell amongst us. We turn now to our song sheets as we sing those words again together.
Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocham va'anachnu nevarech ya me'ata ve'adonam. Adonai, prepare me
to be a
sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
With our hearts opened by words of Torah, we take a moment as we think of those members of our community who are ill. Some are at home recovering, some are in the hospital, and some have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. This week we think especially of Jonathan Waller, Catalina Deltat, Julie Butler, Gary Swartz, Sheila Schneiderman, Claudia Tharp, Tom Bradford, Janelle Nichols, Laurel Phoenix, Robert Cohen, Brianna Jacobs, David Sankey, Emily Poisson, Stanley Bissell, Rena Fields, Richard Jacobs, Brooke Jacobs, Caroline Eisenhart, Larry Futterman, Marty Barish, Gary Paul, Ryan Berger, Chandler Jacobs, Harriet Jacobs, Yael Bat David Valea, Bev Mahone, Alan Friedman, Sarah Kahn, Lee Silverstein, Jill Van Team, Eleanor Goodman, Libby Routman, Marjorie Whitmore, Jerry Phillips, Paul Kershon, Reva Fisher, Leslie Knight, Bert Singerman, Mateo Velasquez, Max Jacobs, Kathy Waldner, Richard Zuspin, and Christopher Denton. If you are thinking of someone who's in need of a prayer of healing, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or to add their name at this time to the chat. We ask for God's healing presence to be with all we have named, all those we hold in our hearts. We also ask for God to be with victims of violence around the world. May they be blessed with healing, help, and support. We ask God to watch over those who care for the sick each day. May their hands and their hearts be blessed with wisdom, love, hope, and healing. We ask for God's healing presence to be with all of them and all of us. We turn to page 371 and sing together.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, umoshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'al, ushchinat uzo begove meromim, u'eloheinu enod. V'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'yad Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Yesh kochavim shel ram magia arza. Rak ka'asher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars up above so far away. We only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us, both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their funeral, of Elaine Gerber and Paul Wiener. And we mark the yahrzeits, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat, of Pauline Abrams, Erwin L. Acker, Mose Ellis, Anthony Michael Furman, Jack Goldberg, Stanley Golden, Shim Lehrman, Ann Plisco, Kay Politis, Maurice Rezes, Norman Romaine, Ray Rose, Harry Rasevsky, Jacqueline Salaman, Ann Schuler, Harry Shevelenko, and Robert Sokol. If you are thinking of someone who you are remembering on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or to add their name at this time to the chat. Zichronam livracha. May all of their memories continue to be a blessing. As we take all of their memories into our hearts, along with the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them. We turn now to page 598. We rise as one community for the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach rutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayichon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha brichu, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace. Together we all say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen. You'll have to tell me. I can't
All
read
right,
your mind.
sign language didn't work. Our closing song this evening, because all of our students are here, is Sweet as Honey, page 204.
Sweet as honey.
As honey on our tongue.
I'm not sure our students are here. Sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey,
Sweet as honey.
sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Please be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone. Once again, it was a joy to be with all of you here tonight, both in our sanctuary as well as everyone joining us virtually. A few brief announcements before our service concludes with Kiddush, Motzi, and a final benediction, and then we can all join together during our Oneg Shabbat to celebrate with the Levis family and to greet one another and continue celebrating this Shabbos together. Tomorrow morning, we will continue celebrating Shabbat together during our 10:30 a.m. worship service. You're all welcome to join us for our morning service, as well as to celebrate with Anna as she will be called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah, the newest adult member of the Jewish people, and she will lead us in prayer and read from the Torah and then become our teacher tomorrow morning. Then immediately after, our ninth graders will be journeying off to the unknown of Chattanooga, Tennessee, with Mike and Lee Moore for an overnight, as they will be visiting the Paperclips Museum on Sunday in Whitwell, Tennessee. So we wish them well. On Sunday morning, we do have religious school at 9 o'clock for everyone else. And then on Monday, Mahjong is at noon, and our sisterhood will have a board meeting at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday evening, our Sisterhood and Social Action Committee event, Mindfulness and Mikvah, begins at 6:30 this Tuesday evening. On Wednesday, as always, you're invited to join with me at 11 o'clock, and I know a number of you are regulars, as we will study each week the Tanakh. We're actually taking a break, though, this week from the book of Judges, so that we can study some of the story and laws of Purim and the Jewish idea of joy and the importance of the occasional l'chaim. So join us at 11 o'clock to get ready for Purim during our Tanakh study. And then immediately after that, you can stay and do a mitzvah, another type of mitzvah, and help with the sandwich project in our kitchen, making sandwiches for those who are in need. On Thursday at 1 o'clock, our knitting and crochet group will meet, and our sisterhood will have music bingo at Adobo this Thursday evening at 6 p.m. With Maj at 7. So sisterhood's very busy on Thursday night. Next Friday evening, our 6th and 7th graders will be joining us for their class Shabbat dinners, and it will be our Kabbalat Shabbat service at 7:30 with March birthday blessings. So we hope to see you back here next Friday night. Then, there's more, on the 5th, Sunday the 5th, it is our annual Purim Carnival. So we hope to see you in costume on Sunday morning. Our students will have class until 11 and then join in the Purim Carnival from 11 to 1 for the final part of their religious school day. But everyone is welcome to join us. There's going to be games and prizes and food and a cakewalk sponsored by our Social Action Committee to help benefit the Atlanta Hunger Walk. So we hope to see you on the 5th. Then on the 6th, on Monday evening, at 7 o'clock, you've been to the Oscars, you've been to the Grammys, come to the Golden Groggers, CDT's Purim Award Show, right here in the sanctuary. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Rabbi Jordan and I are going to be dressed to the nine.
Absolutely. Tuxes and everything. I mean, it's going to be incredible. 7 o'clock, come for a nosh.
There'll be a red carpet.
Walk the red carpet and then join us for our Purim spiel and Megillah reading Monday this 6th. Then the last announcement I have this week is on the 8th of March, our Sisterhood and our Social Action Committee are sponsoring the next in their wellness series, Helping Your Children and Teens Cope with an Anxious World, learning evidence-based strategies that parents, grandparents, and educators can implement immediately to help their children and teens cope better now and in the future. There's a phenomenal lineup of experts who will be coming to talk with parents and grandparents and educators, as well as answer your questions. From 6:30 to 8:30, come and have a snack, a cup of coffee beforehand at 6:30, and at 6:45 the panel will begin. There is more information about this under the TV in the lobby, so feel free to take one. If you have questions about this, after Shabbos, contact Janet Mann. Ruthie. March 12th, which is not yet on my announcement list. It's a little far up, but
Wait, Purim?
Yes, but the Women's Seder is on March 12th. Talk to Ruthie if you have questions or if you're interested in that. And then finally this week, a thank you to everyone who participated last night in our first ever brisket cook-off. It was a lot of fun, a lot of delicious brisket.
There's some left, right?
We were eating it for lunch.
Are we putting it out
today.
for the Oneg?
No, it's not going to be the only, but we were eating it for lunch today. It was delicious, and we thank you all for who participated and also who joined us to have a nosh last night. Next year, watch for a different type of cook-off. We're thinking maybe kugel. So
Are we going to go back and forth between Gary and...
Probably.
Okay.
or, we'll do a rotation of some kind. Anyways, it's almost time for the oneg, but first we need to say Kiddush and Motzi. So I'm going to invite Anna to come forward, along with anyone in the congregation, any young person in the congregation who has not yet celebrated becoming a bar or bat mitzvah. And I'm going to ask the rest of the congregation to turn to page 123 and please rise.
Be cool, be cool, be cool. Gently. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'ava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim Ivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta Mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha V'ava uviratzon hinchalatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim. You just take the cover.
And as they all take a piece of challah, we sing together.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Enjoy.
And we ask for God's blessing using those words from this week's Parsha. V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Build for us a sanctuary, that God may dwell amongst all of us, in our hearts and our souls. And let us take that goodliness and godliness and spread it throughout creation, so that there will be more shleimut, more shalom, more wholeness and peace throughout all creation. Amen. Shabbat shalom.